Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Soren Review. Today, we're going to be talking about the Martinsville Spring Race. We're going to be talking about the Xfinity Race, which started Friday, ended Sunday. It's like it was an IMSA race. And the Cup Race, which started Saturday, ended Sunday. Of course, it was all due to rain. But we'll talk about the two very exciting races and my thoughts on them. So let's go to the Xfinity race first. Do note that if you're watching this, it's obviously race spoilers. Josh Berry gets his first ever Xfinity win in his 13th Xfinity start. He, in addition to this year, made starts in 2016, 14. I don't remember, but it's great to see Josh Berry win. Josh Berry is very successful here at Martinsville, and it's obviously a big victory for him. Even Dale Jr. Said he was crying because of, you know, he's happy to see Josh Berry succeed and be able to grab that first career win. So before we get to our top 10, let's go over basically what happened throughout the race. There were a lot of spins. In the first half, right, the first 91 laps on Friday, Jade Buford spun out, Stephen Parsons spun out, Michael Annett spun out. There's kind of a big, not pile up, but log jam where Riley Herbst and Alex LeBay spun out, and everything kind of got jammed up. We made it to 91 laps. In that 91 laps, Noah Gragson won stage one. AJ Allmendinger had multiple problems throughout the whole race. Had a sway bar, if I'm not mistaken, come loose, so he had problems for most of the race. Then we came back on Sunday at 12 noon Eastern. Josh Williams created a caution, was going to get penalized. Colby Howard spun. Um, the end of stage two happened. I don't recall who won stage two. Who won stage two? Uh, it was Daniel Hemrick. That's right. Brandon Godovic spun. Um, who was it? Joe Graff Jr. and Blaine Perkins spun, and I want to talk more about that in a minute. Alex LeBay spun, but throughout the whole race, it was mainly a few guys running up front, kind of switching the lead, chasing each other down. And I think it's accurately described by who was finished in the top five. So here's the top five. It was Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Daniel Hemrick, Ty Gibbs, Brandon Jones. And I think this accurately describes, who was, one of the top contenders. Josh Berry, of course, won. He led 95 of the 250 laps, if I'm not mistaken, the most of any driver. So he did pretty good. Noah Gragson finished second. Him and Hemrick were very fast. Daniel Hemrick won stage two, of course, gained some damage, had to fall back, I think because he got a penalty, if I'm not mistaken. Drove back through the field, finished third. Ty Gibbs, again, very, very, very good, finishes fourth. Brandon Jones, of course, who had some laps, was very good as well. Austin Cindric, I will note, in the two races we've seen him here, doesn't seem to be one of his best tracks. Harrison Burton was very good. Like I expected him, ran up front all day. Haley, Allgaier, and Michael Annett round out your top 10. Some drivers that I want to briefly mention before I get to the event that happened at the end. Brandon Jones Brandon Brown and Ryan Sieg. Brandon Brown finished 27th in this race, and Ryan Sieg finished 23rd. Both drivers have had kind of bad runs this season. Two who made the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this season. They've really struggled this season, so I think that's to note. Riley Herbst finishes 29th, and I hate ragging on Riley Herbst. And if you know me, I don't like Riley Herbst that much at all. He's one of my least favorite drivers in the Xfinity series. Currently is 25 points out of the playoffs. Jeremy Clements is beating him by more than 40 points. Just want to mention that. And then after the end of the race, right, Josh Berry won and all that. There was a fight between Gray Galding and Joe Graff Jr. So from what I saw, remember how I mentioned Joe Graff Jr. and Blaine Perkins spun? They spun. Galding kind of got into Joe Graff. and kind of sent him into Perkins, kind of ended Joe Graff's day. Then after the end of the race, it sounds like Golding went up to Joe Graff and kind of, Joe Graff wanted to talk. Punches were thrown, and the video started where Joe Graff had Gray Golding on the ground. So I don't really know what's going on there. And also turns out Alex LeBay's car was on fire on pit road. So I don't know what that was about either. Crazy race for sure. So let's go to the Cup race now. It was won by Martin Truex Jr., who gets his third Martinsville win. He's won the last 3 of the 4 Martinsville races. He's also won it in all 3 different sponsors. Just a little fun fact there. Definitely was not the dominant car all day. He was top 10, definitely top 10, top 5 as well. But it was Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney who really schooled the field. We saw that. We really saw that. Denny Hamlin led 276 of the 500 laps. He led more than half this race. Ryan Blaney 157. Blaney, if I'm not mistaken, swept. I want to say he swept both stages. Yeah, he did. And Hamlin was second in both. Truex was third in both, and Elliott was fourth in both. All of them were schooling the field. So let's go through the race real quickly. Lots of spins throughout the race. Before we before the race started, right? A lot of drivers went to the back. Race started. We ran 43 laps. The 15 spun out. Got kind of taken out by Cody Ware. Turns out those 2 drivers are not liking each other, James Davis and Cody Ware. So I'm just going to briefly mention that. Eric Estep goes into more, depth. Then we had a spin. Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, turn 4. They spun. That was when we came back. End of stage 1, right? Ryan Blaney won. Cody Ware spun out. Spun out like 3 times today. Newman spun out, took damage to Benedetto's car. The end of stage 2, some other spinners: Haley, Cody Ware, Kyle Busch, Anthony Alfredo, Brad Keselowski, tons of spins. Newman. And then on lap 387, if I'm not mistaken, there was a huge 14-car pileup coming out of turn number 2. I'm just going to briefly mention who was involved. Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, Matt Benedetto, Ryan Preece, Anthony Alfredo, Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Cody Ware, Justin Haley, and Daniel Suarez, if not more. All collected. It took out, I think, let me look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars got taken out from that. Unbelievable. This list doesn't even have Michael McDowell. He was in it. He was actually out of the race because of it. However, the end of this race was definitely mellow. After that, we only had, in the last 200 laps, we only had 1 caution, and that was last 100 laps, we only had 1 caution. Chase Briscoe spun out about midway through that 100 laps. I think it's because this is my theory. There weren't enough cars. Everyone was wrecked. So let's quickly go through the top 10. Truex, Elliott, Hamlin were your top 3. Definitely the fastest. You're probably wondering, where's Ryan Blaney? He finishes 11th. Had a penalty equipment out of the pit box. He was definitely, I think Blaney was going to win had he been up there. Very fast car. Very fast long run car. Especially the fact that we ran 2 50 lap green flag runs. He would have won. William Byron, like I expected, finishes high 4th. Larson 5th. Very surprising. This is a really bad track for him. So good to see him. Logano 6th. Had a horrible start, so came back, finished 6th. Bell, Reddick, Harvick. Great run for Harvick. Kyle Busch, round at your top 10. Everyone's harping on the Stewart Haas cars. I just want to briefly mention it. Eric Almirola, okay, got damage again. Finished 20th. Team, I swear. Also, Corey LaJoie was probably ramping up for a top 15 day, and then finishes last because of damage on pit road. Overall, a nuts race. Definitely a nuts race. Xfinity Race, solid 8.5 out of 10. Too many cautions. Not too many cautions, but I think it was fine. Cup Race, I'm going to give it like an 8.85. I know that's weird. I can't give it like a 90 because there were too many cautions. Just wait, 15 cautions. That's too much. But I think the racing was solid. There were conflicts all over. Suarez was mad at Byron. Chastain was mad at or no, Keselowski was mad at Chastain, and Eric Jones was mad at Chastain. Just conflict all over. So solid 2 races. We'll head to Richmond. Richmond, I don't think it's going to be a very good race for either the trucks or the cups, but you never know. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Remember, you can use code Soren72 to get free shipping off all order $20 or more when you order from Circle B Diecast. You save like $5. Also, follow me on Twitter if you want @ReviewSoren. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Goodbye.